All right, welcome to the show. This is the Outlaw Apostle Show. I'm Troy Neff, your host, and my producer, Leo.
What up, what up, what up? How you doing?
I am doing good, Leo. I went to the dentist. I just got back from the dentist. I've shared on social media with some folks that I've been working on a Hollywood smile.
Hey, you gotta have that nice smile.
Gotta have
it
that,
gets you a lot of places, I'll tell you that.
It's not a bad thing. It's one of the few things, I'm a very confident person, but it is one of the things that bothered me, personally, even though, I didn't have meth teeth or anything like that. It just bothered me. And I had one that was broken off and just one I could never get white that kind of sat back a little bit. And then, being 56 years old, they grind down, they become shorter, and that's been fixed. You see this beautiful smile and all the tops, 12 crowns on top. I have temporary right now at the bottom, and that will be the permanent crowns will be put on tomorrow, and that will be 11 because today I had in the back here an implant put. They put a screw in your jaw, and after that heals about 9-10 weeks, then they will put a crown on top of that, and I'll be all good to go. But mostly I'll be 90% of the way, 95% of the way there after tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that, and it's just made me feel really good. It makes me feel good about smiling at people, because I'm a big tattooed dude. Sometimes people are like, and I like to be able to smile at people and greet people. You got to
be able to calm the
nice.
situation down with a smile, right?
Yeah, I could do that. Or give him a little wink.
Nice.
Give him a little wink, I'm still a good-looking old dude. At least my girl thinks so, That's all that matters. But look, hey, one of the things I want to get out right away in this second episode is that at the core of this show is always going to be testosterone replacement optimization. People are going to and have used performance-enhancing drugs for decades, and more men have been using them over the last 10 and 20 years that are not professional or competitive athletes and don't expect to step on stage or, hit a 500-foot home run. Okay? They just want to look good, be their best. They want to be jacked, all right? And I want to help men be jacked in the most healthy way that they can and do that long term because, and dispel a lot of the myths around testosterone and steroids. Steroids are scary, because one of the phrases that always gets to me and I hate is such and such. Yeah, that's just like such and such on steroids, comparing something, which just means it's like bigger and jacked and faster or whatever. And so I want to dispel a lot of the myths, and we get these, it doesn't help when we have athletes who die in their, 30s, 40s, 50s, and what we see being blamed is steroids, when in fact, it's not the testosterone, even at high doses. The fact of the matter is when we're talking about bodybuilders at especially, a very competitive level, it's much different than it was when Arnold competed. I don't know if Arnold was really lower than 8% body fat looking at, the old pictures. Guys get to, 3-4% body fat, which is about as low as you can go today.
It's kind of crazy to get to that point, though.
It's crazy. I mean, and all you have to do is look at a photo of Chris Bumstead and also look at a photo of Arnold. Both phenomenal physiques. And I love Chris Bumstead's physique. And all the respect to the guys that are the mass monsters too. But the physiques that I really, really like are really in the classic physique. And that's still big. That's still fucking huge. It is. But I really like those physiques. But when you really look at the definition and the veins and the paper thinness, it's so much different. And that's just to make this point that some of these competitors are using drugs like DNP. They're using drugs that are carrying, getting rid of the water to just extremes, and that causes problems. And then sometimes people are using these drugs and they have other health issues, which maybe meant that they shouldn't take that drug and they just don't even know it. That can happen and cause this. And then you have athletes, like I always like to use professional, and I'm not beating up on the big time professional wrestlers, but there's been a number of deaths of guys in their, later 40s, early 50s. And look, it wasn't the steroids. It wasn't the testosterone. And I'm not beating up on these guys, but look, they actually, even though it may be scripted, okay, that flip off the top rope and they land fucking wrong can fuck you up. Ask The Rock. I've heard Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, tell a story about being in one of the biggest matches of all time, and his hip was fucked, and he needed to give a sign about whether to continue on or not to, and he decided to continue on even knowing the damage that was going to do to his body, because he cared about the other wrestlers and the money they were going to make. But he could have ended the match, and health-wise probably should have.
Yeah, more than likely,
right? Yeah. So it's totally real. The injuries are real. You land on your fucking neck wrong, that shit is fucking real. So, Percocets, the pain drugs, and people getting addicted. Number of them have. I've watched Jake the Snake and his life story and his story of addiction. So it's those kind of drugs. It's the snorting of coke off of strippers. All right? It's the alcohol. And that's coming from a recovering alcoholic. That shit kills. Okay? Testosterone gives life. Testosterone is what makes men men. And that is always going to be a foundation and a core of this show, whether we're talking about testosterone in politics. Well, Troy, what do politics have to do with testosterone? I don't know. You fucking tell me. Why is it not a big deal? And you're a piece of shit if you don't think a 16-year-old girl should be taking testosterone. All right? But they make it hard for a grown-ass man who actually needs testosterone to get testosterone. But a 16-year-old girl who decides she wants to be a man, no issue. There's no controversy, right? It's all good. That's where politics can come in. So if we're talking about sports, we mentioned, that it happens constantly, whether it's the UFC, whether it's boxing. Still with football, a couple of years ago, there were a couple of Georgia players who did not get to play. I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, who did not get to play in the national championship game. And I think if I remember correctly, it might have been Osterin that was the culprit for them too, even though I think that's not a great choice for using something to be a performance enhancer. It's not the best choice, but regardless, they're not allowed to use it. It was found to be in their bodies, and they were suspended, even though it's legal to purchase. Something can be legal to purchase and you not be able to take it as an athlete if you're competing at certain levels, the collegiate level, the WADA, which is World Anti-Doping Association, things like that. So, that all really matters. So we may be talking about sports and testosterone, right? Relationships and testosterone. You know, we are going to get into conversations on this show because you have any time that somebody knows that you take testosterone and you get a little pissed off at somebody, well, that's Troy and his roid rage. Well, let me tell you, motherfucker, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and alcoholics are known to have serious issues when it comes to anger, something that we deal with and that I've dealt with. And back when I was actively drinking, I was not taking any type of performance-enhancing drug, testosterone, or anything like that. So, and I can tell you that I've come a long way. I've made progress in my life. God ain't done with me yet. I'm better. But I got to tell you that I was way worse at handling it back when I was drinking than I am using testosterone, being a man, having my levels up where a man should have their levels, and getting in the gym and working it off. Or sometimes the bedroom, we work it off if you have the right woman. That's okay.
Hey, conditioning is conditioning. You know
Conditioning is conditioning. I like that. That might be a shirt. So I'm just giving you some different examples here of how our conversations and what this program is going to be about, that always at the core is still going to be the testosterone optimization therapy, the performance-enhancing drugs, peptides, and man, I'm still looking. I haven't booked it yet. They've created another 30 seats. I don't know if there's still one left for me or not. If not, I'll pay the money and do it online, attend the World Peptide Conference that's going to be happening in like 10 days, 11 days in Las Vegas. So I might go to Las Vegas for that yet. I haven't decided, or attending it online. And some people were bitching about the cost of attending something educational like that. It should be free. Why the fuck should it be free? It was like $400. Really? To get to listen to the guy that I consider the godfather of fucking peptides, the number one person I go to learn everything I've learned about peptides. Now, I've learned from others, don't get me wrong, but number one is Dr. William Seeds. He does more, and he's not, he looks at all the research. He's going around the world. The guy understands about being fit as well. He understands the real world application of peptides. I learned from Dr. William Seed something that most people don't know, and that's that insulin is a peptide. And, but this goes back. This is how I've educated myself, because I'm telling you, your doctor is not learning this in medical school, just like he didn't learn shit about fucking nutrition in medical school. Your doctor didn't learn shit. He got 6 hours of nutrition training. Why the fuck do you think your doctor's referring you to a nutritionist?
I think that's where people kind of forget when, you should be paying for stuff like that, because the amount of time that someone has to put in to be able to like even share information like that. And people just feel like it's information that they want in their hands, and that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like if you want it in your hands, like go do the research yourself.
I offer lots of free information and have on TikTok, and then I get my account banned. So there is, just so y'all know, you want to find me on TikTok, it's at the Real Outlaw Apostle. There's no gap in there. There's no underscores, no periods. And it's also Troy Neff, not Troy Allen Neff, not Troy A. Neff. And I went from over 15,000 followers to 20 now since last night. Had to start over.
I'm not saying one day 20 is not that bad. We'll slowly build it up.
No, we are not going to slowly build it up. We are going to fucking go after that shit hard and get that back as fast as we can, up to at least over 10 as quickly as possible, and go from there. But what makes me angry is the fact that I got banned for talking about these types of things, how to use testosterone safely, giving people information that they should take to their doctors. I did that today, talking to a guy about his doctors did increase his testosterone amount a little bit and increased it to 1 cc a week. And I said, hey, you don't want to do 1 cc a week, once a week. You want to do at minimum a half a cc, which is an ml. You want to do a half a ml twice a week, like Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday. He goes, I said that to him, and they said no. How the fuck does a doctor in this day and age say no to that? What is the risk of splitting the weekly dosage into 2 shots instead of 1? In fact, it's better for the patient. They're less likely to experience side effects, and levels are gonna be like this instead of a mini roller coaster. And then you still have the shitty fucking doctors out there who recommend testosterone shots every 10 days, every 14 days, literally crashing their patients, crashing them. And it would be better if they weren't on it at all than to live like that. That's just not good. So more smaller doses are better, even microdosing. A lot of people, and a lot of people can do even a smaller amount and yet get their levels higher to the high end of the normal range by microdosing. More with a little less is better than doing more once a week. That's not as good. It's just facts. And things change over time. Things change. Science fucking changes. Things people thought at one point aren't what they think now, right? So you got to be controlled. I want to give people arm people with that information. I want to arm people with the information when the doctor says that they're out of range because they're at 930 and the lab that they used had the high level at 860, and so they want to back them down. I want to arm that patient with the information to ask the doctor, well, doc, how's come every lab has a different high-low number? Where's the fucking science in that, doc? It's okay to challenge doctors when it comes to your health and make them explain shit to you. And they're not always good at that. Now, I'm not hammering on all doctors. There's a bunch of good doctors out there. But when it seems to come to testosterone replacement therapy, I've been working with some gentlemen that are in their 30s. And because the guy's 31, his level is like 120 on his total test, and his free test, I think it was in the teens. It's horrible, right? But because he's 31, well, we can't do that for you yet because you're only 31. What the fuck does that matter? When they're suffering from the symptoms, when the numbers back up the symptoms, and you don't want to treat them because of their age, because you're worried about what, the government? Well, maybe, doc, it's your job to educate the regulators, the government, or whoever needs that information. Because testosterone, I can't think of a hormone that's more important for a man than testosterone. I can't think of one. It is the most important thing to help us mentally, physically, emotionally. And I've seen this because I've worked with guys that are vets who have done a tour or 2 or 3 and have come back home with PTSD. They're depressed. They're struggling. And what the VA wants to do, instead of testing their testosterone levels, what they want to do is put them on the highest doses of Xanax and turn our warriors into zombies. I've seen it. And I've taken these men and helped them to get their levels back up to the high end of normal. And let me tell you, if you're a 35, 45, 55-year-old, 60-year-old man, there is no motherfucking health risk for you to have the testosterone level of a 20 to 25-year-old. None. It's okay. You're in fact going to be better. Because when you understand and learn and know the history, you'll learn how they have lowered these numbers over the last couple of decades, and they continue to lower them, continuing to make men lesser men. Why do you not have the drive that you had 5 years ago? And I'm not just talking about in the bedroom. Because here's the truth about that. You may have problems in the bedroom. And it may be related to your testosterone levels or even estrogen levels. Absolutely. But there are men who are truly low T that don't have any problem getting a hard dick. None. So it can be a symptom, but it's not the only one. So you can't be thinking, well, my testosterone's got to be okay because, well, I don't have any problem there. Okay, maybe you don't. But maybe you're finding your energy levels, emotions. You're finding that it's harder to lose weight. You're finding it's harder to add muscle. There's a long list that can be checked off. How many do you check off on that list? And one of the things that I was doing on TikTok and other places was encouraging people to get blood work done. And then you have some of these doctors refusing to just do the blood work. How about, Doc, let's not debate, Doc, about whether or not you should prescribe me testosterone. How about we just do the motherfucking blood work first? Can we at least agree to that? Why is that complicated? And that's what this program is about. That's what this show is about, is advocating for you and giving you that information. Now, going back to TikTok and me getting banned, I don't know how many accounts, fake accounts were made of me. 5, 10, more. A couple of them got taken down, but many of them out there. One on Facebook I know of. There's one on Instagram too, that they would take my videos and pretend to be me. And people would message these people, and they would pretend to be me. And they would steal their money. And I would send messages to TikTok. But apparently it's okay to be a scammer on TikTok. That's okay. It's just not okay to give people information. It's okay to try to take people's money and give them fake testosterone or just take their money and not send them anything at all. That's okay. TikTok doesn't have a problem with that. Those people can keep their accounts. But the guy that's trying to pass along health information, and nobody has to listen to me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a clinic owner. I've worked with a couple of clinics before because of they engaged me because of my knowledge. I've talked to doctors. I've had doctors ask me for, well, Troy, what would you do in this situation? Why? Because they've heard me. I've demonstrated what I know. And I've done that now over a period of 15 years. I just don't have book knowledge when it comes to this shit. I have actual, practical, hands-on knowledge helping well over 4,000 men, and that includes some women as well. And that keeps growing, which is just crazy to me. But that's what the show is going to be about, It's always going to have that at its core about helping men to be the best men they can be and what it takes, what's the process. Because I got to tell you, when you feel better, when you get, I have a particular client that I'm thinking of right now who is very good at sales with his company. He also started watch sales, luxury watch selling business as well. There's a couple guys I know, but my main guy is my guy in Nashville that I get my stuff from. This other guy is a client of mine though too, and he was on the heavier side. He wasn't. He would qualify to being he was fat. Wasn't obese, like just extremely obese, but he was fat. And even though he was a very confident and a very good salesman in his company, it bothered him. It really did. But when he was able to get his testosterone levels up, after already working out, getting his diet in check, making those lifestyle changes, and still his testosterone was low. And after getting that up and then his body changing more, and now like he's taken that and the confidence that he has now, that's not only helped him in his day sales job, but also to grow his own business, the selling of luxury watches, which at some point, I'm pretty sure that'll be his number one thing. It just will. And that's fantastic. I love seeing that shit. But it's having that confidence, just like, me sharing about my teeth and the confidence that gives me. I've already been great at consulting and sales. I'm already good. Better than good. But this little added bonus where it just gives me that extra edge, it all starts with the testosterone in the gym for me. It's where it all starts. And like this morning, I was able to get my workout done early. Man, when I can get my workout done in the early part of the day, and I know everybody can't do that. You got to do what you got to do, and I've done that too. But I just feel like when I walk out of there and I look at the clock and I just think about what's the other 99% of people doing? What have they done in the first 2 hours? Were they even fucking up? And if they weren't even up, and then even if they were, and they're just putzing around, this whole thing about you versus you, yeah, great. But man, I'm out here competing every motherfucking day. And I like knowing that I've already kicked ass in the morning. I like knowing that you're not on my level because you just haven't put in the work. I have. And at some point, I will be rewarded for that work, and I have already been rewarded. And there are other people that I look to that inspire me, that I aspire to be more like. That's what I hear them say too. And then I know I'm on the right track. And the right track for me is to do what other people are not doing. The right track for me is sharing this to help others get on this track. Why does it have to be 1%? Why can't it be 2, 5? Why can't the top 10% get better? Top 20? Does the bottom 50% have to stay there? Can they move into the top 50%? And if I can have something to do with that and helping people do that, that's what I want to do. And that's what this is going to be about. And that's what this particular episode is. All right. This particular episode is just telling you what's at the core of this, what's going to be coming in the future, what type of conversations we're going to be having when we have guests eventually on the program and sharing their life experiences to help us, to help me. You know, I want to have people on the program that I'm going to get value from, that I'm interested in talking to, that I'm like, man, I've done this, but I haven't done that yet. How did that guy do that? And I'm going to get that guy on the show, and I'm going to have him tell us how he did that. And then the ball is in my court. The ball is in your court. What the fuck are we going to do with that information? Lots of good podcasts, lots of good information. What the fuck are you doing with that information? You think you know shit? What are you doing with the shit you know? Are you taking action? Are you implementing? You know, being positive, having a mindset of, you know, the law of attraction, having that mindset. The mindset is great, but you have to put in the work. You have to initiate not just action, massive action to get the results. And that's what I'm about. I'm about results. All right. We're going to do, we've already decided and changed plans a little bit. Our plan is to do 2 episodes a week right now. So I thank you for being with us. Join us for new episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's the plan right now. Is that the plan, Leo?
That is the plan. We hopefully stay on track. And maybe they get a little more than that. We don't know.
Maybe they get a little bit more. All right. I'm the Outlaw Apostle, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. Have a great week.